What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast. It is Sean O. Sadly, as you can see, I have my work clothes on, which means one thing and one thing only. I will not be on the podcast this week. I know. Never fear. Yous tune in every single week to see me. I know, but it's okay. I'll be back next week. Obviously, you'll have to put up with Bren for one more week without me there to defend each and every one of you. And that is okay, because as I said, I will be back next week. So do not fear, my fans. Do not fear. This week on the podcast tonight, it is brilliant. We are talking about our heel Mount Rushmores. So the lads are doing men's Mount Rushmores, I think. So I'm going to take it that step further, go that little extra mile for you guys. And I am doing a men's and women's. So obviously starting off for my men's Mount Rushmore, I think we got to go with Ric Flair. The styling and profiling, woo! That was shit. But you know what? That's fine. Ric Flair easily goes on the Mount Rushmore. You can't have a Mount Rushmore without Ric Flair. Absolutely phenomenal heel. He's only ever been a heel, really. And it was brilliant. He showed off his lifestyle that nobody else could have. And I thought that was an absolutely fantastic angle. Second, I've got Mr. Paul Heyman. Yeah, because everyone knows that anyone he's ever managed, he has turned on, or they've turned on him. So he really hasn't got the luck of the draw. So he is another person I definitely think should be on a Mount Rushmore. Obviously, my third is Randy Orton. Yes, the master of the punk kick, the legend killer himself. I think he was a heel from 2007 to 2010. I could be wrong, so anyone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, his legend killer angle was phenomenal. His feuds with the likes of CM Punk, The Undertaker, Christian, John Cena, all absolutely phenomenal, and some of my favourite feuds. Obviously, one of my favourite feuds in WWE history has to be Randy Orton versus John Cena. I thought it was unbelievable. And for my final man on the Mount Rushmore, and just like Ric Flair, you can't have a Mount Rushmore without this guy on it. MJF. Yes, bringing the modern era of wrestling onto the Mount Rushmore. MJF is diabolical. He is easily one of my favourites in wrestling currently, from his most notable promo shooting on Tony Khan, saying things like, don't ask this man to reach into his pockets and pay the guy who's been busting his ass for the company, which I think is absolutely true. And also saying, boss, would you pay me more if I was an ex-WWE guy? I thought that was diabolical. Absolutely amazing. So he definitely deserves a spot on the Mount Rushmore. For the women's, I think I gotta go with Trish Stratus for her 2004 heel turn when she most notably turned on Lita. Once again, another great mention. A blast from the past, we gotta go with Miss Ivory. Just because the women's championship wasn't taken seriously up until she dethroned Deborah for it, and it was kind of a two birds, one stone situation where you're boosting the title and giving her a phenomenal and notable heel turn, and I thought that was just brilliant. Charlotte Flair is another great mention. She's had amazing feuds too. Definitely one that people don't like that comes to mind is Miss Ronda Rousey. I don't know why she came to mind first. Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, all these brilliant matches. One of my favourite matches where Charlotte was a heel was Hell in a Cell 2016, and I think that was between her and Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship, and that is once again one of my favourite matches in WWE history. I'm a man of simple pleasures, and that is one of them. And for my final spot on the Mount Rushmore, easily got to go with someone who hasn't been a heel for long, but is still amazing, and that is Becky Lynch. Recently, WWE were here in Dublin for SmackDown, and Becky Lynch turned on her home crowd saying, now that she's here, now that they're here, we don't deserve it. And I thought that was a brilliant little turn on her hometown crowd. Yeah, I think all these are pretty notable mentions. Have a great show, guys.